Welcome to Roadmap, how to take 3 listings a week until you're ready for more. Each week, we interview a powerful agent taking lots of listings each month, and we have an exciting guest today. In fact, today is the Secret Strategies Show. We encourage you to take notes, apply as much of the knowledge as quickly as you can, and then use the copycat principle. Before I introduce our guest today, I want to remind everyone that we are also simulcasting the show on the private Lead Gen group on Facebook. Lead Gen has over 50,000, almost 51,000 members, so we have a large audience there today as well. We'll be pausing for a commercial message during the show as a thank you to the Lead Gen folks. Let me welcome our guest today from Cincinnati, Ohio. Hope your flight was good. Maryann Ries, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You moved here not knowing anybody and built the business from scratch.
Correct.
That is awesome. That is great. And I understand that this month, is it the month of August?
Yes.
Year to date. Number one in Keller Williams in our area here, Cincinnati. Number one in Keller Williams. That's quite an honor.
Yeah.
That's huge because you were talking about a very big franchise. So that's exciting. Good. Well, now some people are going to watch this, and at the end of the show, they're going to go, oh, I have somebody moving to Cincinnati, or I have somebody moving to Northern Kentucky. You can handle that?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So, because this is 2 million people around here. Mason, Ohio, just think Southern Ohio, Northern Kentucky, and then call her. How do they reach you?
But telephone is 513-470-0564. 513-470-0564.
Perfect.
And then my email address is my name, MaryanNries@gmail.com.
Okay, Maryann Ries, spelled M-A-R-Y-A-N-N. Okay.
R-I-E-S as in Sam.
And then is there like a team website or anything like that that they could learn more about what you're doing? Or reach you?
We are developing a new website as we speak.
Okay.
But if you Google Maryann Ries or Steve Ries, you'll find us.
She and Steve work together and have a great, fabulous business that built out. I mean, that's like $700,000-800,000 a year in income. It's huge.
Yeah.
It's awesome. What a great life.
We're highly motivated.
Good.
With lots of tuition bills.
Good. So we're going to have some fun. The whole purpose of this show is to try to have a lot of people watching the show who maybe you're taking only 1 listing a month, maybe you're doing 1 buyer sale, maybe you're doing 2 transactions a month, and get to where you take it way up without working 90 hours a week. So we have a list of strategies we're going to go over. And if you apply a lot of these strategies, because honestly, there are people that work as hard as you do that make it much, much, much less.
Yeah.
So it's not how long you're working, it's what you're doing.
Absolutely.
So hopefully we'll you can make a nice list, get your yellow pad out, or if you don't have yellow, use your laptop or iPad or whatever you want to make that list. So I wrote down some notes. You wrote down some notes.
Yep.
I put at the top, I think we both thought, consistency. It's a key piece because a lot of people, there's no consistency. They're either busy, and tell me what you think. How does this work? You take a bunch of listings and then you've got to work on them and get them sold. And then you're working on inspections and pendings. Then you're working on closings. You've stopped bringing in, you stop catching fish to fry the fish.
Right.
That's a big problem. So how can you be consistent?
Well, I think for new agents, it's much easier because you don't have bad habits already. By the time, I think the very first thing that I would do if I were starting over in real estate is to get a coach right out of the chute.
Yeah. And you didn't do that, did you?
No. Oh gosh, no. I definitely took the hard road.
Okay. Don't do that.
Yeah,
and honestly, folks, this show is not about getting you involved in coaching. It's just what we have found that everybody that's making a lot of money is involved in coaching.
Right.
It's just
it's the accountability factor. It's the getting on a schedule that is workable. When I first started in real estate, my goal was to make $100,000 a year, which was to duplicate my income from corporate America.
Gotcha.
And so I got my kids off to school, and I would get to the office by 10, and then I would work nonstop really hard till 2:15, and then I would get home and take care of my kids until my husband got home from work, and then I would go out on appointments, which worked, and I had a great business, but it's not the level that it is now.
Mm-hmm.
But and I can understand how people have things that go on in the morning that keep them from doing this. But my schedule now is my alarm goes off at 5:15 on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and 5:30 on Tuesday and Thursday. And I get up, I go work out. That workout is all about mindset. I listen to morning motivational videos, books, whatever it is to get my head in the right place every morning, and then, get rolling early, because if you can get your prospecting done by 10, the rest of the day is always better.
Good. Catch those fish early. Yes. Early bird gets the worm. So is there a schedule where people can get, and it sounds like if you're going to lead generate, if you're going to prospect, you got to do it first thing or else it ain't going to happen. Is that the case?
Well,
because some people say, I can do it at night, or I can fit it in here and there. Is that realistic?
You can. It just takes all day, and it sucks the life out of you.
Yeah.
I mean, you can make a few calls in the morning, make a few calls after lunch, make a few calls in the evening, but then it feels like you're doing nothing but working all the time. And that's certainly not what I want to do.
So you just start early, look for business all morning. First thing, as early as you can start, look for business.
If you set an appointment every day before 10 o'clock in the morning, your life will be so happy.
There we go. So, yeah, and then go on with the rest of the day is the way to do it. So that's like cardinal rule number one. Yeah. And that way, no matter whether you have listings, pendings, or buyer. So I guess that creates a second rule. You can't meet if you're a one-person show, you can't meet a buyer at 9 o'clock. You kind of have to set your buyer appointment for 11 or 1 or something like that, which that could be the rule, isn't it? No 9 a.m. buyer appointments.
When we got into coaching with Mike Ferry, which was about, I think, 3 years ago, that was the first thing our coach told us to do, was stop taking any appointments before noon, period, no matter what they were. It didn't matter if it was a doctor's appointment, or it didn't matter what it was. And so that was a game changer for us, because then we had to be, doing something productive in the office during that time. And it really does keep you from working, because you can work from 8 in the morning until 11 o'clock at night, 7 days a week in real estate if you want to. But you're certainly not going to maximize your income or your life doing that.
And a lot of these people are their own assistants.
Right. That was a game changer too.
Okay, well, tell me about that.
So when I left the previous broker that I was with, my goal was to double my income in the first year. And I was closing about 16 transactions at that time. And I really wanted to hire an assistant, but I was reluctant to take on the responsibility of another person's income. Mm-hmm. And so what the manager of the office at that time said, what you need to do is bank 6 months of their salary, put that in a separate account, mm-hmm. just leave it there, and then hire somebody. Don't pay them out of that account, just pay them out of your regular income. But you always know if there was a dip in the business or what have you, that you have that safety net there for them. And I never looked back, and my business doubled for sure. I mean, I went from 16 to 40 the first year.
Awesome. So really, in a lot of cases, people don't hire an assistant soon enough.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, a solo agent could find another solo agent in their office and say, let's both hire an assistant working 4 hours a day. Now we're talking about each agent responsible for $100 a week. They could give up Starbucks and have a 4 hour a day assistant that they share with another agent.
I don't think that salary is, it depends on probably where you live.
Yeah, I guess right. Okay.
It would probably be double that.
It'd be double. It'd be like 200. They'd each have to come up with $800 to pay a $1,600 for a part-time. Yep. So that could work. So they could get into having an assistant pretty quick.
Yes. And I do think it's important to hire, especially if you're splitting it with somebody, to hire somebody full-time, because if you hire somebody part-time, they've got something else going on. They either have some other reason that they can't work full time, or they have another job, but they're not going to be dedicated to your business. So I think it's much better to share a full-time
They
assistant.
need 8 to 4, 9 to 5, something. Okay. All right. Good advice. Very good advice. So these are great ideas to get there faster.
Yes.
And one of the things we were talking about is standards.
Yes.
Standards, because standards for a buyer that you're willing to work with.
Yes.
And honestly, there's a lot of, it doesn't exist.
Right.
People are working with people who are looking on and off for 6-8 months.
Right. I think that there are, that the lower the price point, the harder the buyer, because if somebody is looking for $100,000 house, they generally do not have money. So they have to have something that's totally turnkey because they don't have money to fix it up. They are going to be super, super picky. They're going to want to look at a lot of houses.
Because it's their first round.
And it's just not going to be, it's not profitable.
So you're almost implying they should just work some of the higher price ranges to make it a little easier.
Well,
and a little better check.
If you're going to work with buyers, you definitely have to make it worth your while.
Okay.
It's you definitely want to, and there are plenty of people that will work with plenty of people in your office that will work with lower end buyers, that are buying in the lower price point. Just tip them out. Then you'll get a little mailbox check.
Yeah.
And it's just a little bit smaller than the check you would have gotten if you showed them 30 houses.
Good. There you go. So it'd be well worth it for darn sure. And then you can, you pick and choose, because as real estate agents, we meet a lot of people that I want to live way over here and you don't spend much time over there, or I want this price range and you don't spend much time.
Right.
So, you got to do something with the buyers you're working with, and then there are all the other ones. Just refer them to some agent in your office.
Yep.
Perfect. Good. And then with standards, before you take them out, knowing after a couple trips out, they're definitely picking something out. What does that look like?
Well, so let's say you get a referral from a very good client that you don't want to turn down, and they're not going to, and this happened to me one time. So it's P&G reload. So automatically it's a 35% referral fee to the reload company. Then it's somebody that's looking up to 120,000. And then they send you 35 properties that they want to look at. So in that case,
all in one day, right?
Well,
just kidding.
Hopefully one day. What if it's 5 days? That's even worse.
I know.
So you go through these and that 25 of them are absolute garbage. They're either in a terrible location, they're in terrible condition. This is a single woman. She's not going to like the neighborhood, blah, blah, blah. So then you take the top 5 and you take them. This is what I do. I'm going to take them to 5. In my head, I'm taking them to 5 houses. And the first 4 are the second, third, fourth, and fifth best houses that we're going to look at. And then the 5th one is by far the best one.
Okay.
And then after they've seen 4 that aren't going to work, don't like, then the 5th one, we got to move on this one today or it's going to be gone.
And it's true. And you're telling them what, instinctively from being in the business, know.
Yep.
The gems, the nicest homes, the best value, they always sell first.
But those other 25 houses, you do not need to show them. You should not show them. You are doing them a disservice and you're just making everybody tired. Yeah.
Do you take them through some questions to find out whether you should even take them out? I know with the Procter & Gamble relocation, they're going to buy. That's a different story.
Well, plus you don't want to disappoint the person that just bought a $600,000 house with you or sold a $600,000 that referred this person to you.
Right.
So you got to be really careful with that. It's fine to give them to somebody else, but you have to make sure that other agent is highly competent and that they're not going to screw up your P&G business, because that's important.
Yeah.
So, but what we tell buyers, if we take out buyers, what we tell them is that we're going to show you the 5 best houses, and you're only going to buy 1 house, right? Okay.
Yes.
So you're only going to buy 1 house. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the first 2 houses and you're going to say, which one would you buy? And then we're going to go to the 3rd one. And do you like that 3rd one better than the other one that you said you would buy? And then the 4th one and the 5th one. And then after the 5th one, you said, okay, you've seen the 5 best houses. Are you prepared to make an offer? And if the answer is no, I haven't seen anything that I would be willing to live in, then we need to regroup and find out why.
Okay.
So if they say, Well, none of them were nearly big enough. And I really need something that's completely remodeled. Okay, so we have to cast a broader net, either geographically, meaning that you're not going to get this little pocket of area that you want to live in, or we need to cast a broader net price-wise. Which do you choose?
Okay. So I hear a strategy here. I hear a future pace. You're like, we're going to look at the 5 best, and then they look at the 5 best, and usually that works. Mm-hmm. And if not, you're saying we either have to go out further or raise the price.
Well, and they may say, hey, I sent you 25. Why are we only looking at these 5? Okay, let's go through these other ones, and we'll tell you why we eliminated them and why those aren't in the top 5. This one has a power line in the backyard. This one is on the busiest road in Cincinnati. There's 40,000 cars that go by it every single day. Mm-hmm. This one is, whatever the reason is. This one doesn't have a backyard. You said you wanted a fenced-in backyard for your dog.
So they get it that you're listening. Because
they get it that you're listening.
And you're going through the list.
It gives you credibility that you know the inventory. You have to know the inventory.
And another thing comes to mind is the old expression, people want to be led.
Undoubtedly.
And when you take charge, because sometimes we see agents working with buyers and sellers, and the buyer and the seller is leading because they think the agent can't lead. Somebody's got to lead, somebody's got to follow.
Absolutely.
And shouldn't it always be where they've hired us because we know what we're doing? And we should lead every time.
Well, yeah, it's just like going to a doctor's appointment.
I hear that leadership piece in there. You're saying, we're going to either do this, or we didn't show you this because of these things. Leadership.
Undoubtedly.
Big piece. Put that on your list. Put that on your list, everybody. Good. Good.
You have to know more about what you're doing than the buyer does. We picked up an $850,000 buyer. So they couldn't come to the open house because they lived in San Diego. They were moving here, and but they called us after the open house, and we had gotten an offer on that house. But we said we can find you a great house, and so we went through their criteria with them, and then we told them about inventory that we knew of that we thought might be a fit. Some of which they knew about, some of which they didn't. But they chose us to be their agent instead of the person that was assigned to them by the hospital, because they knew more about the inventory than that agent that lived in Cincinnati and they were in San Diego. So you have to earn your money. I mean, like, just do your job.
Right. Do your job. That's it. So, you were talking about, you were talking about tracking numbers. Now, why do you do that? I mean, they do say where performance is measured, performance is gained. Is that what's going on here?
Well, and if you set a goal, so our goal this year is, let's see, what is it? 25 million, I think.
Okay.
So if you set a goal for 25 million and you take your eye off the ball, even for a week, odds are you're not going to make that goal. I mean, that's an ambitious goal. So you got to really put the pedal to the metal and make sure that you're noticing every week whether you're on track or not. And if you're not on track, the beauty of real estate compared to any other business that I've been in is that you can just turn up the volume. And you can make up for, if you didn't get all your contacts. Say you're right now, I think we're 10% behind on contacts. But we're on track on listings taken.
Okay.
But we're behind on listings sold.
Okay.
So
do a lot of you track those same numbers? And would you be able to recite that? She knows where she's off and what she's got to do.
Well, we track it every single day, and then we have it versus our goal. And so but if you pay attention to that, you can turn up the volume up. It's all about contacts, right? So the more people you talk to, let me put it this way, if I did what I am supposed to do every single day, all day, every single day, my business would be double the size it is.
Wow.
But so there's room for,
you got a lot of room.
Yeah. But
you add an extra $500,000 real quickly.
You have to do what you're supposed to do at least 80% of the time, or else you don't have a chance.
Good. So you're tracking numbers daily. Your number. She knows them off the top of her head. I think that's fantastic.
It's important.
That is exciting.
I also I also set goals based on a 10-month year.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, because the math is really easy. But, say you have 25 million. So that means you have to sell 2.5 million a month.
Right. So margin of error.
Yeah. And that way
and when you hit November, December, everything's a bonus.
Exactly.
There we go.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's a good way to do it off a 10-month year. So write that down. So we're going to go into questions. Bayardo Estrada, how many transactions is 25 million? She's got higher price points, at least for Cincinnati, there are higher price points.
Our goal for this year is 75.
75, good. All right, perfect. Thank you, Bayardo. How many Ida Russell wants to know, how many contacts per day?
My goal is 20 contacts per day.
Okay. And you work your database pretty intensely.
We do.
And you work at kind of a tight geographical area too.
That's getting bigger. That's getting bigger.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And that's been one of our avenues for growth is a broader geography.
Gotcha. You dominate some of the most beautiful neighborhoods in the city.
Yeah, that is, but that you can only get to a certain level. You know what I mean? There's a glass ceiling there.
Mm-hmm.
So when you think about growing your business, great ways to grow your business is to increase the revenue, like the price point that you're going after. That's huge. Increase the geography.
Mm-hmm.
And, definitely work your database, your circle of influence, past clients. If you have them, past clients are the best.
Yeah, they are the best. Aren't
the
they?
person I had lunch with today, four-time client.
Four-time client. Wow, that's awesome. Yeah. And those are the ones you take to lunch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And you can keep going out and out and out until you run out of room and then just go up to Columbus or Dayton or wherever, or Kentucky.
Yeah.
Gary Keller would have you doing expansion, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think it just depends on what your goals are.
5 years from now. Yeah. Okay. Okay, good. Tom Horst wants to know, what do you say to your contacts when let's say you're calling a past client. What do you say to them? I know you call for sale boners and everything else, but what do you say to a past client?
Well, you can use there's great scripts out there that you can download on the internet. If you look at real estate coaching websites, if you look at whatever you want, they're all over the place. But I basically do a just listed call sometimes when I'm calling my circle of influence or past clients. So Ren,
because they're curious. Yeah.
Your kids are 25, 26 years old now, right?
Yeah.
So we just took this great new listing. It's 1135 Paxton. It's an absolutely gorgeous turnkey house, remodeled from top to bottom, and the list price is $400,000. So I'm sure that if your kids aren't ready to buy, they probably know someone in their circle of influence that's ready to buy. So who can you think of that you've talked to about, settling down, getting their first or second house, or they're ready to sell their 2-bedroom and move up to the bigger house?
Well, let me think about that. Yeah. So that's a great script. That's that gets the ball rolling.
That's one.
Because people are interested in homes for sale in their area, or the ones you've just sold and you're looking for.
Yeah. Another one that I've been using in the past few weeks, if you've been paying attention, you'll notice that June, July, and August 2018 are declines versus June, July, and August 2017. We believe that is the beginning of the next cycle of declines in real estate, which usually lasts 3 to 5 years. So we're calling our past clients center of influence and saying, so have you heard about the interest rates going up?
Okay.
So a lot of people...
Market stats, and people love market stats.
A lot of people think of when interest rates go from 4 to 5%, that's a 1% increase in interest rates, but it's a 25% decline in a buyer's buying power, because 1% of 4% is 25%. So the same house, if your house payment has to be the same, so you can have a $2,000 a month house payment, the price point that you can buy at is 25% below what it was when the interest rates are 4%.
So you're educating them.
So what we're telling them is,
and then that's
if you
a conversation.
Know anyone that's thinking of selling in the next 3 years, this is the time to do it today.
And then you empower them with that information. They're talking to somebody else who's thinking about buying a home, explaining that same thing. And then they'll say, well, how do you know all this? Well, my agent, Maryann Ries, calls me. She calls you. That's pretty amazing. Which most people haven't talked to their last real estate agent in a while.
Right.
Doesn't happen.
Right.
So,
well, and your clients will keep you honest on that, because what will happen is you will see one of your past clients' houses go on the market with another agent.
Yeah.
That is nothing but an indictment on you not keeping in touch with your database.
Yeah. Or you mail them something and you get the little yellow sticker back.
Yep.
With the new address.
Yep. It hurts. It hurts. This business will keep you humble, that's for sure.
All right. Well, there's a great real estate agent, newly licensed from Encinitas, California, wants to know, how do you, and you know them. You know who that is. How do you handle a potential seller who is unrealistic about price?
Well, I think one of the things that we believe is that we always do what's right for our clients, regardless of whether it's the right thing for us to do or not, for us personally. And so what we tell our sellers is we cannot help you unless we are telling you what the market will bear. Okay, so we're going to share with you the market stats, always question-based. So look at these comparable homes for sale. And this one, the lot's 25% larger. This one's a 4-bedroom. Yours is a 3-bedroom. This one has a brand new kitchen. Which do you think will sell for more, your house or this house?
So it's all question-based.
Always question-based. Because
So
if
you're
you
not-
get
yeah.
them to say it, they believe it.
Yeah.
If they hear you say
If
it,
you
they
say
don't believe it.
Or their mind wanders. And
Yeah.
if you keep asking me questions, I have to pay attention.
Right, right. So,
Question-based CMA, folks.
Yeah.
Try that. That's brilliant.
yeah,
That is
so
brilliant.
if they, are still saying, like I went on one this weekend that he was like, well, mine's still better, even though it's 25% smaller, even though it's not in the right location, this, that, and the other. And I said, and his house has been on the market for 2 years. And I said, we can't change what the market will bear, but we can help you if you determine that you want to sell for what the market will bear. And I think ultimately what we agreed to is we're going to lease the house. He's willing to gut it out for the next 5 years and then wait for prices to come back up and recoup some of his loss. And I'm like, that is a strategy. If you want to own this house for 5 years and you think that the wear and tear is still going to make this more profitable for
That
you.
sounds like a lot of work.
It sounds like a lot of work.
Shannon Hodges, she wants to know, she's got like 4 little questions in a row here. What do you say to your past clients that you haven't talked to in a while when you're asking for business? How many past clients do you contact before you get a referral? How do you convince them to give you the person's contact information, where they say, I'll have them call you. So that's a 3-parter, Sharon, but Shannon, let me see what we can do. So what do you say to them? You haven't talked to somebody, you haven't been able to reach them for whatever reason or another, and you reach them, it's been 1.5 years since you've talked to them. What do you say?
How are you? No, they don't know it's been 1.5 years. They don't.
Okay,
They don't.
okay.
They think they talked to you a couple months ago. People do not keep track of time,
Okay.
and so I wouldn't do it any differently.
All right, just get over it, huh? All right, just call them. Just call them, Shannon. Call them, Shannon. How many do you know what your numbers are with past clients? How many conversations with past clients do you get a referral?
Well, I know that statistically it is far more efficient to call past clients and center of influence, or what we call METs, than it is to call people that you've never talked to before. And I think, if I remember right, I think the numbers are 1 in 50 when you don't know them, and 1 in 12, I think, when you do know them.
Yeah,
So
something like that.
You should be getting a lead or a contact or something from about 1 in every 12 people if you know them.
Good. If you're in rapport, if you're good at it, if they knew you as a great agent.
Yeah, that's
All those
important.
things.
It's
Yeah, you have
important
to have
tell
given
them
great
about-
service. Yeah.
It's important to tell them about your successes too. Like
Yeah.
we just sold the one down the street from you in 2 days. Did you see that?
Perfect.
And who else do you know that wants to sell?
Yeah.
Because inventory is so short right now,
Yeah.
and interest rates are going up, so the market's not going to be better for the next 3 years.
Yeah, and I heard the way you worded that. You didn't say, do you know? You said, who else do you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's sort of like, you do have an answer for me. So
Absolutely.
And then, and the age-old question, and I've been searching for years, a lot of times people, are hesitant to give out they know somebody's thinking about buying or selling. They're hesitant to give you the information. Do you have a little technique that you use? I've never been able to figure it out to where you can get them more often to give you the number.
Not really. I mean, I think that and I just had this conversation with somebody that called me and she goes, now I'm going to give you my phone number, but I don't want you to keep bothering me. And I said, well, we're going to sell 75 homes this year. And believe me, we only want to work with people that want to work with us. So you can give me your phone number. And if you call me and say, we're not going to sell, I will never call you again.
There we go. That's a good deal. That's fair enough. And that's a good story to give them too. So that's great. Do you do Facebook ads? Tom Horst wants to know, do you do Facebook ads for landing pages?
I do not know what that means.
Okay.
We do advertise our open houses on Facebook.
Okay.
And we do boost them, which it costs money, so it must mean send to more people. But I don't take care of any of that.
You get some traffic off that? You get a little bit extra traffic?
Yeah.
Okay.
We had an open house at the development that we represent recently, and we boosted that to all the geography around it. And we probably had 50 people. And
in her geographic market, if you hold an open house, you get a wealth of people, and you get some deals.
Well, this one was in Sailor Park on the other side of the universe, very remote area.
Okay, so you really needed to boost it.
Yep.
Lee Unger says she's in the business for 6 months now. How would I tell my seller to decrease the price without getting into a long conversation? Maybe it's reduce the price.
Well, two things about that. One is that whenever we take a listing, we tell every single seller one of three things is going to happen when we put this on the market.
Gotcha.
We're going to put our best foot forward. We're going to have great pictures. The house is going to be staged great. It's going to look great. One of three things will happen. We will get a contract, which is what we expect to happen.
Mm-hmm. Notice she nods her head.
And they nod back.
Yep.
Or we will put the house on the market. We'll get lots of showings and no offers.
Mm-hmm.
Or we will put the house on the market and we won't get any showings. So if one of those other two things happens, what do you think that means?
That means nobody came to see it and nobody liked it. And maybe, I don't know what that means. Does that mean we're overpriced? Notice how she made it a question.
It definitely
Lee Younger, she makes everything a question. Isn't that great?
It means that the market has rejected your home at this price.
Write that down. I like that. The market has rejected your home at this price. That's good.
So what are we going to do when that, if one
notice
of those
notice she asked that again as a question.
If one of those
because if they say it, they're more likely to do it. Now, what did they say? Telling isn't selling? And you're just asking me questions.
Right.
Look at the power of that, folks. There's a reason she's #1 in Keller Williams in Cincinnati, Ohio right now. #1. Ask questions.
So if one of those last two things happens, Ren, what are we going to do?
Notice she asked the question. I love it.
All
right, I'll lower my price.
Are you still moving?
Yeah.
So the best time
to find out, I'll just stay here. And then you have to say you're serious. And then you say, well, there's no reason to put it on the market.
You definitely need to find that out.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't, the best time to get a price reduction is when you list the house.
Mm-hmm.
So you say, we're going to be on the market for 2 weeks. The average time on the market for this product is what? It says right here.
You do that in writing?
The price reduction, no.
Okay.
We have during the recession.
Okay.
I would get them to sign 4 price reductions.
That's kind of what you had to do then, yeah.
Yeah, because during the recession, I would say prices are coming down like this.
Yeah.
And how do you catch a ball that's rolling downhill?
Yeah.
You have to get below it.
Yeah.
So we need to, if we're not aggressive enough to get an offer out of the chute, then we have to get below that ball. Yeah. If it still doesn't work, then we have to get below it. But we give them, we say 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. If the days on the market in a given area is, 10 days, which is pretty normal right now. 10 days, we're on the market 2 weeks, we don't have an offer. What does that tell you?
Yeah, it means we missed the mark.
Right.
Yeah. Well, good. This has been exciting. This has been powerful. It's a great list of stuff. I'm going to watch this several times. And a lot of them want to know what your real secret is. And I have it right here. A lot of people want to know, what is Maryann Ries' secret? Well, every time she's done making her contacts, she gets delicious Graeter's mint chocolate chip ice cream. And get
to match my dress.
Yeah, to match her dress. Now, it's the only one for listing property. If you're working with buyers, there are several other flavors that you get to help with buyers. But if you're listing property, you want the mint chocolate chip. I have to read our commercials. And if you're watching on Vulcan7, you want to get involved with the Lead Gen Facebook group. They are at facebook.com/groups/got-objections. Also, I want to thank Aaron Wittenstein, who runs that. He's a real giver. He has a little program called expiredmasteryelite.com. And finally, if you're watching on Facebook and you're not involved with Vulcan7, make sure to sign up at vulcan7.com/leadgen for a special deal. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for being on this exciting Secret Strategies show with Maryann Ries, #1 in Keller Williams in Cincinnati, Ohio. Thanks again. See everybody next week.